Wednesday, and so it is good to have you here. I will not always do these devotions. I have several women that are going to take over this part, but I wanted to be the first one to get to speak to you guys and just encourage you here today. Many years ago, probably 15 or 16 years ago, my wife and I were riding down the road, and she was very quiet, looking around. And I thought, well, that only means one or two things, right? Men know that either we're in trouble or they're just thinking. And so I said, so what you thinking about? And she said, no, why did you ask me at that time? And I was like, what are you thinking about? She's like, please don't make me tell you. I said, no, now you're really going to tell me. What are you thinking about? She said, back there on the billboard, it had a pink border and it should have been red because it didn't match the words to the border. It was the wrong color. And she was like, see, I told you it was dumb. I busted out laughing. And ever since that time the times I know I'm not in trouble and she gets quiet, I'll say, what are you thinking about? And she goes, no, don't make me tell you. You know what I've learned? That your minds, women's minds, do not stop. As men, we do have that nothing box where we can go into and think about absolutely nothing. That's why we enjoy mowing the yard or fishing or doing something that doesn't require any thought. Watching TV, we can watch a whole program and not think anything about it. You guys don't have that option. One thing I've learned from wives, from mothers, from grandmothers is this. There's something constantly consuming your mind, and it is your family. You are bombarded with thoughts about your family. If you have small children, how are they doing? Do I have enough stuff for them? You're making dinner, or you're saying, do I have enough for dinner? What am I going to make again tonight? Do they even want to eat what I'm cooking? Because, we're all getting tired of eating in, right? Whatever it may be, you're consumed. Maybe you have teenagers. You have a teenage boy, and you're like, I just bought him a brand new pair of shoes a month ago. He's going to grow out of them again. Maybe you're a grandmother and you're sitting around, you're retired now, and you're thinking about your grandkids, and they're out driving the car, and you're constantly in prayer for them, and you're thinking, they're just, your families bombard your thoughts. Women's minds cannot stop going. I've got one word for you. Ready? Just stop thinking about it. It's really simple. Just don't think about it. Don't you love it when your husband tells you that, or somebody else tells you that? Just quit thinking about it. Just stop worrying about it. Y'all don't have that option. Now I want to tell you a story. There's a story in the Bible in 1 Kings chapter 17. And here is somebody who is making a last meal. Now, I've often thought, what would it be like to be the one to make the last meal for somebody that may be on death row? Now, very humbling, right? Think about it. They have requested a certain food, and you are the one that is creating it. And you're going to do the very best you can to make it right. They deserve the punishment. We all know that. But it's a very humbling thing to create a last meal for somebody. But let me ask you this. What if that last meal was for your child and for you? The woman in 1 Kings chapter 17 is having a conversation with Elijah. There's a great famine in the land, and Elijah asked this woman to please make some bread cakes for me. Get me some water and make some bread cakes. The woman had been gathering the sticks for the last little bit of flour and the last little bit of oil. Can you imagine if a woman is consumed with thinking about her family, how she's going to take care of her kids, how she's going to take care of her family, how she's going to care for her husband? You guys are consumed with this. You're constantly thinking. What do you think this woman was thinking as she was picking up sticks? I would imagine she had exhausted all that she possibly could do to get food for her son. I would imagine she had missed the majority of her meals, and she was probably in a sunken state in her flesh at this point of making sure her son was cared for. So she's getting ready to make his last meal. What do you think her mindset was like? Little did she know that 80 miles away when she was preparing and praying and trying to figure out what to do, God had called Elijah to this woman. There were some requirements, though. The requirement was this: when Elijah arrived, and this shows the woman's faith, when Elijah arrived, he said, make me some bread cakes first, then make them for your son. And when she did that, and she continued to remain faithful, she had enough flour and enough oil to last them all the way through the famine. It was a miracle in the Old Testament. So what's consuming your thoughts today? What's consuming you constantly every single day? I've got a word for you. Just stop thinking about it. It's really simple. Just don't think about it. I'm just kidding. You know this, that your answer still may be 80 miles away, and it hasn't arrived yet. But I promise you this, God knows exactly what's on your heart. I pray you have a good day, and God bless.